Hey everybody, this is Fred Richani of TSC, here to present you guys with a special look at the Action Martial Arts Hall of Fame weekend, the Oscars of Martial Arts, sponsored by Alan Goldberg and our great friends at Bullyin We're Kickin It. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these interviews with celebrities including Ray Mercer, Chuck Zito, Vincent Pastore, and much more. First up, Sasha Mitchell of Kickboxer and Step by Step fame. Here for TSC and Bullyin We're Kickin It with our friend Sasha here at the Action Martial Arts Hall of Fame weekend at the Tropicana. Sasha, how's this weekend in AC treating you so far, man?
Oh, we love it, man. I love coming here because, well, my sensei's here and Sensei Sarah, his wife, and all my friends, all the grandmasters. It's like 1,000 grandmasters and black belts all brought together. And, you know, it's a convention, but it's really a convention of martial artists for martial artists. So for me, it's like old home week. I love it here. I love the people. And thank Alan Goldberg for sending me out here.
Is it weird being not the toughest guy in the room?
I'm never the toughest guy in the room. I'm the softie. I'm just a welder, man. I'm a sweetheart. You know, like, it's funny. I look scary, but I'm just drawn that way. You know, I'm not really. I cook. I raised 4 kids alone. I paint nails, do the hair, detangle and spray, the whole thing. I mean, they're big now, but yeah, it's funny. I love these guys here. The thing is, like, I think they're all the same, too. You know, they're always martial artists. They're always the sweet ones that are polite and trying to help people, you know. Tough guys really fall first. I think that's how about it works. And that's the anti-bullying campaign. It's always the tough guys. They're the ones that are like the bullies. They're causing trouble. The nice guys don't cause trouble.
And I feel like, too, with like martial arts, because you're disciplined, because you have that power in you where you know that anytime you can defend yourself, I feel like you have more of like a greater respect like towards people and like how you act, right?
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of that stuff comes from fear. You're right. You know, when people are scared, you know, they have to like bluster and act tough, you know, but any one of these people, they don't have any fear inside them at all. They don't care. Like Sensei used to say, mind over matter. I don't mind, so it don't matter. You know, like whatever you say, do it. You know, and that I think that's all martial artists. They don't have fear, so they're not antagonistic. And then they're not rowdy and they're not, you know, the bullying type.
What came first in your life? Because you've been doing both for a long time. Martial arts or acting?
You know, like I think boxing was very first. You know, even at the PAL, I used to go to the PAL over in Queens. And martial arts started. Was one thing led to another like that before acting at all. I was doing, I did some commercials. Remember that? There was like a drug commercial I did that was like, this is your brain on drugs. That like won all these awards, and I started out actually the Calvin Klein stuff. So it was modeling, like Calvin Klein and all that. And then I did the public service announcement against crack, because that's when crack had just come out in like 82, 83. And after that, I did like a movie of the week where I spoke only Spanish in it. It was an ABC movie of the week, and it was Ricky Nelson's daughter, Tracy Nelson. She got sent down to South America and then supposedly met me, and I only spoke Spanish. It was like that kind of a thing. So it started out with other kind of TV and movies and things. And then the first feature I ever did was directed by Terry Leonard, who was like the biggest stuntman ever in the world. He did all the biggest high falls, and like he's in the Indiana Jones series. He's the guy that got dragged under the truck, you know, by the way. Yeah, Terry Leonard's like the best stuntman there ever was. And he got a movie directing, and he put Fred Dreyer in it, who used to be like a Rams quarterback. And I had just got out of military school, and he threw me in that movie because I already knew how to drill with rifles and stuff. He even told me, he said he was going to hire John Wayne's son. And he had told him he wanted to do it, but he didn't want to cut his hair. He didn't want to learn how to drill with a rifle or whatever. He's like, so Sasha, man, you're it. And I was like 18. And we went to Israel, filmed the movie. And I turned 19 when I was there, I remember. And I was so sad. I was like, man, that's it. I'm 19. I'm old. Like, I'll never be as fast. I'll never be as strong. I'm like 19. It was really funny. Like, I had no idea. You know, like even at 51, I'm stronger than I was at 18. I'm benching like way more weight, you know, but it's because I never stopped lifting weights my whole life, since I was like 13. First thing I ever bought myself in my life was a weight bench. I was bagging groceries and I saved up and bought a weight bench. I was 13.
And with acting too, like there's a lot of highs and lows, of course, especially when you start out young, and like when you're in Hollywood or doing any kind of production. I mean, nothing can really prepare you for that. But you said you went to military school, you did boxing, you done weight training, of course, martial arts. How were those outlets able to help you kind of cope with all the trappings of fame and acting?
I think it was really my children, honestly. Like, I didn't, I had a lady that I hired she was my housekeeper lady, and I got her a van, and she would drive and pick my kids up from school. I dropped them off in the morning and went to work. And then she would pick them up and drive them to the studio. And then I would drive them home and cook dinner. So I don't know about all those Hollywood trappings. I was born in L.A. and in Hollywood. So I wasn't like from some rural town and then Hollywood struck me. I was born and raised there. To me, it was like actually actors, models, that was like a bad thing in my house. My dad was in the garment industry. I didn't tell my dad for like a year that I was doing acting. And finally I got a movie. It's called Spike at Bensonhurst. And I got the lead over Ernest Borgnine. Like, I was the star of the movie. And I had to tell him that I was acting. So, like, it wasn't such a thing in my house that would trap me anywhere. I've always just been the balance of the martial arts gives you balance like that. It doesn't let you drift off into, like, some Hollywood realm. But I too, I was there. And the bonsai, too. I was raised... California Bonsai Society, and then eventually actually the Nampukai, the Grand Masters. My father's trees are like, at the National Arboretum in D.C. and Descanso Gardens. My father has trees named masterpiece trees at the Nippon Bonsai Society in Tokyo. So I think that started me really young with balance and, love. When you love nature, you love the trees. It's like when the creator, he designed the world, he said, which one of my creatures is going to take in all that kills my other creatures and give off what gives life to the rest of the world and also be able to be a victim to any one of them and can't defend themselves? It was the trees. And if you learn that kind of beauty from trees and nature and you love it, you understand that. You understand the creator and the balance in the world. Hollywood's got nothing on that. It's like, there's nothing.
Well said, and I can't believe you're 51 years young, man. You look about at least like 10, 15 years younger. So I got to get on your aging plan.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Just stay in the gym. Yeah. Stay in the gym, cook, and be happy. That's another thing that people miss. When things happen in your life and they hit you hard, like if you live your life positively and you get up, go to work, and be happy, wake up your kids and get them to school and it's exciting every day, you're under the governance of man. You're happy and you're doing it. If you don't and you start being depressed and sad and this and that, you fall under the governance of heaven. And if heaven has to govern you, usually it's like a punch, a kick, you'll get an elbow, maybe a knee, and wind up in the hospital. And then you're like, what do I do? God, please help me. When you get back on track, you get healthy again. It's the first thing people do when they get hurt. God, help me, right? But if you always live that way all the time, you can live 3-4 lifetimes in one life, and do your corrections and bless everybody that you know and help everybody that you see. That's the way to live, positively.
Love the advice, man. Before we let you go, where can fans find you online, and what have you got going on in 2019?
Oh, I've got that. Twitter is Sasha at Sasha727. It's my birthday. And on Instagram, I think it's the real Sasha Mitchell. And on Facebook, it's Sasha Mitchell, but there's a picture of my son and I like this. I got my arm around him. So that's the one that's actually me. And then 2019, we did that movie Father and Father. Dr. Bob produced it, and Mark's in it, and Tom Renner, Mark Goldberg. They played two priests that are like in a church, and then Chuck Zito goes running in, and he's like, "Hey, Father, you gotta hide me," and he's like, "Forgive my sins." And then I run in with a bunch of guys to go and shoot him while I'm trying to kill him because I already shot him once, but he didn't die. So this is like the short that we did. And then now they're trying to make it into a series.
Fred Richani here for TSC and Kickin' It with Vincent Pastore. We're here at the Atlantic City Martial Arts Hall of Fame run by Master Alan Goldberg. Sir, how's it going?
Pretty good. 20-year anniversary of The Sopranos. We're all running around, signings, appearances. They're talking about, they're putting together a prequel of the movie. I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I'm down here with my friend Chuck Zito. And no, I never did any martial arts, but I was a boxer when I was younger.
Okay, you were a boxer when you were younger. Is it weird, though, to kind of be in a room when you're not the toughest guy?
Who said I'm not the toughest guy?
There were some rumors. Of course, I didn't say that.
Why? Because I'm a big pussy?
I don't know about that. There were some people that said, you know what, we might be able to take you on in a fight. Obviously, I would never challenge you, but we've heard some things from maybe Mr. Zito or
Chucky. Don't talk bad about me. No. I mean, I can handle myself. Yeah, I'm 72 years old. I'm old enough to be your father.
You do not look 72, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
I'm old enough to be your grandfather.
You look great, though. What's your secret to aging, man? You look great.
I work a lot. I keep busy. People say to me, I can't believe you work every day or someplace you travel. When I take a day off from home in the house, I live on City Island, I'm getting caught up on my paperwork, and I teach, so I'm going over scenes and stuff. But I travel a lot. I think the traveling and the energy and watching your diet keeps you a lot younger.
Is it crazy to think that it's been 20 years since The Sopranos? I mean, it is such an iconic, well-remembered series. Do you ever get tired of being remembered for that Sopranos role?
No, I think it's awesome that here I'm 20 years later, and I'm able to meet people who are very they were so much into that show, and new people are watching it, because they rebooted it on HBO again. We get new fans. It's really nice that it's been a 20-year run, and we're like the Godfather of television. The Godfather's always played on television, and when people watch The Sopranos, no matter what episode they happen to turn in on, they get caught up into it, and they'll watch it again. Good television, good writing, good films. People want to watch them again. How many times have you seen Raging Bull? How many times have you seen West Side Story? I mean, Goodfellas. If it's a good film, you're going to want to watch it again.
And do you feel like that technology has only helped the legacy of The Sopranos and your acting career? Because it's so easy now for people to watch, and people that, may not even been alive during the original run of Sopranos are now watching it and catching up.
Well, technology has hurt our residuals. Because if you watch it on YouTube, we don't get any money. But, no, it's all good. It's like this thing. I did Shark Tale. I did this with De Niro, Michael Imperioli, Jack Black. And animated features, the residuals are unbelievable because years later, kids, you have a baby and they grow up, and like my granddaughter just watched it for the first time, So an animated thing, you get your residuals forever. And now with Sopranos, we'll get residuals forever,
So do you feel like the streaming and everything, it still has a ways to catch up, kind of like syndication as far as like paying the actors and everything? Because at the end of the day, while it's nice that you can watch these shows, the actors still got to get paid.
Yeah. I mean, Screen Actors Guild is really on top of the residuals. So one way or another, you get a check from something. I mean, I'm getting checks from State of Grace. I had like one line in it. I'm getting checks from Goodfellas. I had one line in it. And they're on top of that, So when you got a project like this, which is, like when I do Hawaii 5-0, when they rerun it again, Screen Actors Guild, you get a nice residual check. This is a good way to live. And I have my pension now from Screen Actors Guild, So to say, Vinny, what are you doing here then if you got a pension? This is called gas money.
Now, you mentioned before at the top of the interview the prequel that they're working on for The Sopranos. They are casting James Gandolfini's son. I don't know how much interaction you've had with him over the years. I wish him the very best, but those are some awfully big shoes to fill. What's your assessment on him taking on this role and stepping into the spotlight?
Well, number one, the role isn't that big. I mean, it's not all about him. It's about the family. It's about his father and his Uncle Junior and his mother. The kids, I don't think they're going to have that big of a part in the show, but they're in the show, and I think it's beautiful that Michael's playing Jimmy's role, again. I think it's a beautiful thing.
We're also here for Alan Goldberg's charity, Bullyin We're Kickin It. Can you just talk a little bit about the importance of educating kids through martial arts, or in your case, boxing, and through sports, and just positive reinforcement and as far as how to grow up and overcome any obstacles in front of them?
Well, when I was a kid, me and Chucky grew up in a tough neighborhood, West New Rochelle, and we were taught, somebody comes after you, grab a stick and you hit it with them. Now the kids are being taught how to do martial arts. They don't need to grab a stick. They know how to defend themselves. And it's very important also for young girls, you know. The martial arts is very, very important. Plus, it trains your mind. You know, I meet some of these kids like today, and they're really good kids, you know, and they're tough kids. So what I'm beginning to learn from being around martial art people like Chuck and, you know, it cultures your mind, you know. So if I had to relive my life all over again, I'd want to come back as Bruce Lee.
Not a bad life, right?
He was a badass. One of all-time movies ever is Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee and John Saxon. Awesome movie. Could watch it over and over again.
You want to talk about legacies? We talked about The Sopranos and everything else, but I mean, Bruce Lee and martial artists and martial arts and movies, I mean, that can leave a lasting impact. I mean, you're still talking about it to this day, decades later. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Right. Yeah, well, James has gone down, Gandolfini has gone down as one of the most iconic characters on television, and people surrounding him. Michael, who played Christopher, Steve Sharippa, Bobby Bacala, Tony Sirico, Paulie Walnuts. These are our second names. I walk down the street. When I sign this stuff, I sign Big Pussy. This is, you know, this is our legacy. You know, my daughter, she, you know, she's a little embarrassed, but she knows her father's nickname is Big Pussy.
And before we let you go, where can fans find you online and everything you got going on?
Well, the next time I'm down here, I'm at the Borgata at February 9th with Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharippa. We're doing a Sopranos event. And you can get tickets at the Borgata. And then I'm doing a play with little Steven Van Zandt up in the city at the Cutting Room. And I'm doing a lot of television, but that stuff really isn't coming out yet. But the thing that's really running around with me now is Sopranos. Yeah. With that, we say goodbye. We'll see you again and forget about it.
We're standing alongside martial arts and acting legend Don the Dragon Wilson here at the Action Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Mr. Wilson, how's your weekend treating you?
Great. You know, I've had a lot of fun. I've met a lot of new people, and of course, it's always great to see all my friends before we were starting the new year together, before the year 2019 starts.
And you're looking great these days. I believe you were just doing a seminar. How'd that all go?
Yeah, very good. I taught self-defense because even though I'm known to be a kickboxer, what I basically teach is the things I learned as a kickboxer that all martial artists can incorporate in their self-defense.
And what is that? What are some basics? Because I feel like when you're just a regular civilian, you might say, oh my God, like, I'm not an expert, you know, where do I go? Do I choose karate? Do I choose kickboxing? Are there kind of some basic skills that all forms of martial artists can be taught?
You know what? I think that the basic martial arts they're pretty similar. You know, they teach us power and punches, power and kicks and things. It's kind of a similar way. And they just have different ways. They call them styles, different styles of getting there. So I think they all have value. And, you know, Bruce Lee used to say, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. He used to say, I'm all styles, no style. Which means he studies as many as he can, but he's bound by not one. Like if one says, oh, we don't do our punches that way, but he likes doing it that way, he will do it that way because it's his own personal style. And I kind of followed in his footsteps.
Now we're here on behalf of Alan Goldberg's Bullyin We're Kickin It charity, which is fantastic work here. Can you talk a little bit about martial arts, how it's positively impacted you and the kids that you've helped?
Well, certainly it's impacted me because it became my whole life. I mean, I took it just for exercise, really. I was an athlete. I played football and basketball. At the time, I was in the Coast Guard Academy, and I took Goju from Chuck Merriman, who was my first instructor, and it was because it was offered at the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. And then when I left that after a year, because I wasn't really satisfied with the military lifestyle, so I went back to Florida, and I took Kung Fu for my brother. And I got my black belt in Pai Lam Kung Fu. And then from there, in 1974, I started kickboxing. And I had my first pro fight in 74. And I ended up fighting for till 2002, which was 28 years I fought as a kickboxer. The movie thing came later, and Chuck Norris, actually, I got to credit him for giving me the idea to move to L.A. and try to be an actor. Because Chuck used to go to my fights, and he suggested it to me.
Definitely a good friend to have one way or another. Now, we talked last year about you were funding the Martial Arts Kid, too. The Martial Arts Kid was a very successful independent film. Do you have an update for us?
Well, the script is completed, and they've got enough funding. If they wanted to shoot it in L.A., they probably could shoot it really quickly in L.A., but my brother likes going on location. He's done 2 films in Florida, and I believe he had a very good experience shooting in St. Petersburg, Tampa, and he wants to relocate it to there. And because of that, I think it's going to be bigger budget. It's going to have a lot more action, and of course, a lot more martial arts stars than the last one.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to that. Before we let you go, sir, where can fans find you online?
Well, I'm on Facebook. Although I don't manage the Twitter and all those other kind of feeds, I do keep on track on Don Wilson, and the picture is me holding a microphone like this, and so you'll know it's not a fan one or some fake one. It's actually mine. It's got my face, and I was at a film festival actually in Burbank, and I took the picture. I said, yeah, that'll be my picture.
Staying alongside actor, martial artist Chuck Zito. Mr. Zito, how's your weekend going?
My weekend's going great. Just be here another year. Sifu Alan Goldberg's Academy Award of Martial Arts right here. Of course, that's your Martial Arts Hall of Fame, so we're here again.
That is a badass gi, my friend. Every year I see at one of these things, you're looking younger and younger. You haven't aged a day. What's your secret?
Well, actually, I lost 30 pounds recently, so I guess it made me look a little younger.
How'd you do that?
Basically, let me tell you something. You don't have to train. Diet. I haven't even been in the gym. It's just diet. And I used to be a junk food junkie. Ate everything, cookies, donuts, Malamars, soda, and I cut out all that. And I just, I have chicken soup a day and coffee. I lost 30 pounds in 4 months.
Well, you certainly look fantastic, and I think that's advice that people will definitely take. Now, we're here on behalf of Alan Goldberg's Bullyin We're Kickin It organization. Can you just talk a little bit about martial arts and how it's positively impacted your life and kept you out of trouble?
Well, I don't know if it kept me out of trouble. But, I've been in the martial arts. I started boxing when I first grew up. My father was a professional boxer, so he taught me how to box. I became an amateur fighter. Was in the Golden Gloves 4 times in New York City. And then, of course, after seeing Bruce Lee and the Green Hornet on TV, I wanted to be like Bruce. So I went to Aaron Banks Karate Academy in New York City and started training in White Crane and Tiger Claw Kung Fu under Master Chin. And then went on to Ishu Karate, Chiquita Jiu-Jitsu, Kamite Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, Vietnamese Jiu-Jitsu, and now I train with Henzo Gracie and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
That's one hell of a background. Now, before we let you go, we talked a couple years ago about McGregor-Mayweather, which you correctly predicted. That fight went down. I feel like the last couple of years, boxing's really made a comeback, being on national TV more often, and then the big fight with Fury and Wilder, Pacquiao and Mayweather may fight again. What's your outlook on boxing for 2019?
Well, boxing, there's only a few guys out there who are people who know. Of course, Mayweather, and he's semi-retired. He's fighting again. He just went to Japan and beat that kickboxer, who's a great, he's the best boxer out there in his time. It's definitely changed from years ago. There's no more Ali's and Fraziers and guys like that, and Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard's. But, the main thing now is the UFC. I mean, a lot of people turn towards that. But boxing's coming back. I mean, you have the Triple G who's have fought Canelo, and they're fighting the third time, I think. But it's picking up. I mean, boxing went down a lot. And that's why a lot of people tune into the UFC.
And before we let you go, where can fans find you online? And what have you got going on for this year?
I've got 3 movies coming out this summer, one called Honor Amongst Men. I'm doing 2 TV series right now, one called Paper Empire in Miami. I'm working with Mike Tyson in L.A. called Tyson Ranch. And
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is that Tyson Ranch the marijuana ranch he's working on?
Absolutely. He has his own marijuana ranch now, and Mike's an awesome guy. I know Mike over 30 years, and he's an awesome guy. And but they're doing a TV series on him, and I'm involved in it. So I play his bodyguard because I was his bodyguard in real life. He had some events, and I walked him in the ring a few times, and we've been close for a long, long time. I was at the Tyson Brawl with Lennox Lewis. You saw me when I was in a club, when I was at Hell's Angel. You saw my back patch getting in the mix of the fray. And so me and Mike go back a long time, you know. And now he's got his own marijuana ranch.
You guys have had one hell of a life. Thank you so much, Chuck Zito.
Thank you so much.
TSC and Kickin' It, standing alongside boxing legend, the nice, the kind, the generous, but the always merciless Ray Mercer. Looking great, a few pounds lighter, about 40 pounds lighter. We're here at the Atlantic City Martial Arts Hall of Fame, put together by Alan Goldberg. Mr. Mercer, how's your weekend in AC treating you?
Oh, man, it gets better with time, man. Every time I come, it's better and better.
And you're looking better with time. Before we get to everything you're doing with Kickin' It in the boxing world still, what is your secret? You look great.
Well, just leaving the alcohol alone for a minute, you know. I dropped 40 pounds. I quit drinking. This is going into my 12th month, and that's my secret.
It's pretty amazing. And I got to say, too, over the years we've talked about boxing and if it can make a comeback, and it's always kind of been pretty big, but can it be consistent? And I feel like over the last year or two since we last spoke, I mean, it's really gotten bigger. I mean, you had the Mayweather-McGregor freak show fight, but then you had, you know, the amazing two back-to-back Canelo and Triple G fights. PBC is now on Fox. Manny Pacquiao just fought Adrian Broner, and that did a pretty good buy rate. What's your overall assessment right now of the state of boxing?
It's not as good as it was back in the maybe the 70s and the 80s, maybe the 90s. But it's certainly a different generation nowadays. I mean, it seems like after maybe 10 fights or so, then you can get a title shot. You know, we got champions that don't have experience. And I think of all our trainers right now, all our good trainers, they're training foreigners. And, you know, that's taken away from the Americans. I think we need to get our trainers to start training our fighters again.
What's your assessment of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury? Two guys with two different backgrounds, both considered, you know, the best at the heavyweight division. Really kind of, I feel like, put heavyweight boxing back in the spotlight with their fight. At the time we're recording this, we're not sure if they're going to fight again right away, but they've definitely got momentum on their side and got a lot of people talking.
Yeah, I thought it was a great, entertaining fight. I thought by far Fury won the fight. You know, it's just a shame. I've been robbed a lot of times before myself, and for Tyson Fury to not get that fight, to me, it was just a hurting feeling. You know, Tyson Fury, he worked hard for it. He's beaten his demons. He should have took them titles home. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, I feel sorry for Mark Breland because he's not showing any fighting skills at all. And Mark Breland has been training him for, you know, some years now. So it was like an embarrassment to the heavyweight division to have a heavyweight champion throw punches like he was throwing punches.
Now, in fairness to Wilder, though, I mean, he's beating all comers and everything. So are you saying, like, from like a pure boxing standpoint, you'd like to see him kind of improve? Because as far as like pure talent and power, he's getting by on that. But do you think like long term, if he wants to really cement his legacy, he's got to improve?
Well, I'm telling you this, there's a saying in boxing that if you look for a knockout, you're not going to get it. So that's where the strength, you take the strength away because you're going to have to use your brain, and you're not always going to be able to knock people out. So you have to know how to fight other ways. And I'm just saying I feel sorry for Mark Breland because this guy must not be listening to him. Because Mark Breland is a gold medalist. He's on one of the best Olympic teams ever, and he knows his boxing. And for Wilder to come out there throwing punches like he's throwing, that tells me that Wilder's not listening to Breland because I know Breland knows what he's talking about.
Pacquiao, Mayweather, too. I know both guys are kind of past their primes. That fight's not officially official yet, but it looks likely. Mayweather's 42. I believe Pacquiao's 40. How do you see that fight going down?
I'd want to see a good fight. I don't know. Pacquiao looks awfully good now. You know, they say it's a boxing saying in boxing, once you beat a guy, then you should always beat him. I think Mayweather's a smart fighter. I think Mayweather will come out on top again. But I think it'll be a great fight.
Do you still give Tim Sylvia nightmares?
I think if you ask him, I think every now and then, you know, after getting knocked out like he got knocked out, I think he still thinks about it.
And on a lighter note, we're here for Alan Goldberg's anti-bullying charity, Bullyin We're Kickin It. Can you tell us what brings you here today?
Well, you know, I've been with the Kickin' It, the bullying thing now for 8 years, and I like to feel like I'm a good spokesman for it. And you know, this is one of the reasons I come up here to meet Jenna Marie and you know, try to get some sponsors for some of her events, some of our events, and we're going to put on one This summer it's going to be great. We put on a golf outing on the March 1st. It's going to be a great event. We need sponsors. Gina Marie, she's doing everything she can to help these kids. And she's been in a recent accident, and she hadn't been able to, really. It's been hard for her. So right now we need more help for the kids. If you've seen the work that she does with the kids, man, you guys would come and help out, and that's really what we need because she has a heart of gold.
Hey, I'm Sasha Mitchell. When it comes to bullying, we're kicking it together.
Hey, this is Vincent Pastore, and as far as bullying, we're kicking it.
Merciless Ray Mercer, and we're bullying and kicking it together.
Hi, I'm Mick Foley. We're kicking it together.
Philippe Nova here.
Family Chef Vince.
Chef Amanda. I'm Chef Cindy from Hell's Kitchen.
Hi, I'm Chef Barrett, Season 11 Hell's Kitchen.
Sean Wilkins.
Hi, I'm Kaylin.
Hi, I'm Plaxico Burress.
Hi, I'm Eddie Alvarez. Bullying.
We're kicking it together.
We're kicking it together.
I'm Don the Dragon Wilson. Bullying, we're kicking it.
Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that special look at the Action Martial Arts Hall of Fame and all these celebrities coming together for a great cause that is Bullyin We're Kickin It. For more information, visit kickinit.org. And if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please feel free to subscribe, like us on Facebook, like our official YouTube channel, follow the TSC News Podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, and Google Play. And until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the fights.